Hey, it's me, Waifu Belector, the only fair human on Earth, and let's get right into this. Let's talk about Tekken 8. What's good about it, what's bad about it, and what's just an indifferent fact. Starting with something that isn't always guaranteed in the world of fighting games. Content. You know, it's never a sure thing that there will be anything else to do in a fighting game besides get online and fight people. And the FGC, God bless their hearts, they don't give a shit. But lucky for us, Tekken, as one of the big three fighting games, has a large casual audience. And that casual audience works like quality assurance and gets us as close as possible to a guarantee of content. And so here we are, with the content-rich Tekken 8. I'm happy to say that Tekken 8 gives us some shit to do. Not that Tekken 7 didn't, but it's good to see that we haven't stepped backward, because that happens sometimes. Mortal Kombat. But yeah, of course Tekken 8 features a complete story mode, and it's good. The story mode is about 3 hours long. It's fast, energetic, it's silly, it's over the top. It's everything you expect from Tekken delivered in a well-paced manner, and it's just a good time. Now, in addition to the standard story mode, there is a mode called Arcade Quest. And Arcade Quest kinda acts as this sort of glorified tutorial, while at the same time being its own mini story mode that mimics the bones of Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode. You create and control this little avatar that looks something like Xbox Live Arcade kind of shit. And this Arcade Quest story is about people playing Tekken 8 in an arcade. So it's sort of this mini meta story mode. The dialogue, story, and tone of it are straight out of fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! It's honestly hilarious. The main villain is like shitting on everybody else for not playing real Tekken because they like to have fun and customize their characters and whatnot. And your friends in the game are like, "You're wrong, there is no right way to play Tekken as long as you're having fun." And it's just that kind of energy for the whole 2 to 3 hour runtime. It's super funny. If we had gotten just this without the story mode, I'd be upset, but playing this after or just in addition to the story was very enjoyable. And like I said, glorified tutorial, so you can learn a thing or two if you're new or just not that skilled. Of course, that's not all though. There's also character episodes. This is where you pick a character, you do 5 plot relevant fights with that character, and you get a nice cinematic cutscene ending telling you what they do after winning the King of Iron Fist tournament. Fairly standard fighting game stuff, except in Tekken, it's a whole in-engine cinematic and not the comic art or graphic novel approach of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. So you may want to see those stories for each character, or maybe just your favorites. Either way, it's a nice bit of extra incentive. Beyond that, there is the plain as it comes arcade mode, 8 fights against AI complete with a really cool old school style arcade boss. Like, you can't play as the boss character, he's only at the end of the arcade and has his own full moveset. Very old school and very cool. But yeah, of course, there's also the bread and butter of the game, fighting each other. Online, offline, whatever. Of course you can fight each other. Plus, there's Tekken Ball, which is like volleyball, but it's Tekken, so you guys are punching the ball at each other to do damage. It's wacky as hell, of course, and it's a good mode. I do wish the online functionality was more obvious. As it stands, you can only play Tekken Ball online by going into the Tekken Lounge, which is like an online lobby like Street Fighter's Battle Hub. And in the lounge, you go to the beach and you can challenge other players. But on the main menu, there is no option to just search for an online match. I honestly thought you couldn't play online at all until I looked it up. Anyway, let's also talk about how the actual fighting feels. Put quite simply, it feels fucking great. I love how this game feels. There is a fluidity and responsiveness to what I press that I don't think has been present in any other recent fighting games I've played. Not that other fighting games aren't responsive, but Tekken 8 feels a cut above in that regard. Even online, I had very little stuttering or input delay or whatever. The game just typically feels really good. And because of that, it feels really inviting to try new characters. Tekken 8 also has its own version of modern controls called Special Style, where at the push of a button mid-match you can simplify the controls, to the point that mashing a single button over and over will give you a big fat juicy combo. It's actually a neat mechanic, but one I don't really use because of my gamer pride, which is a lot like Saiyan pride, but less fictional and yet just as dumb. Anyway, there's also a new offensive mechanic called Heat that you can trigger once per round. In Heat mode, your character gets an armored attack upon the activation, and then access to extra combo options for the duration of your Heat mode. And like I said, this is an offensive mechanic. With that in mind, your Heat gauge will halt in place as long as you are attacking, and only depletes while you're idle. So going on the attack is to your benefit in Heat. You can also choose to deplete a large portion of your Heat gauge in order to use a powerful attack called a Heat Smash, and having that available adds a fun layer of strategic mind games on top of the mind games that can come into play already with the existence of rage arts. The game's just super fun to play. Characters I've been trying are fun to learn, and the ins and outs of the game are just fun to learn in general. But if I can shift back to content for a second, the character costumes and customization is also really good, and unlocking new customization options gives you something to strive for if you don't feel like playing ranked Tekken. However, this is where kind of the only hang up I may have with Tekken 8 comes into play. I do wish there was a game mode with more longevity. I mean, there is an end game for Arcade Quest, but most of what you earn from that are cosmetics for the avatar used in that mode and Tekken Fight Lounge. I don't know, maybe just something more along the lines of Street Fighter 6's World Tour in terms of replayability and length. I mean, World Tour is like a 20-hour long mode or some shit with more optional to-dos after the fact. Or even if Tekken has something like MK1's Invasions mode. I mean, better than Invasions, but Invasions. The longevity of Invasions, but a better mode, you know? But whatever, that's my only real gripe. If we did sort of have that longevity embedded in a single-player game mode, I think we'd be looking at goddamn perfection, seriously. But as it stands with my hangups that are really minor in the grand scheme of the game, the bigger one being the game mode longevity, and the really small one being the sort of hidden online for Tekken Ball, what we do have here is not just a fantastic fighting game, but just a fantastic game. If I had to put a number on it, I'm feeling a nice hearty 9 out of 10. It'll be a tough one to beat this year, and honestly, I think I'm going to be playing this thing all 2024. Okay though, I think I'm done. If you're thinking about grabbing Tekken 8, I say do it. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. Also, go ahead and drop your comments insulting me and telling me how stupid and wrong I am. I know you want to. Alright though, until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I'm loving Tekken 8. Goodbye.